got this little meditation stool to sit on during my videos. Game changer. Hey guys, it's Dana and it's time to talk about money. And in this video, I wanted to talk about if you have been trying to get out of debt for years and it just seems like it is never going to happen. So let's talk about ways to stay motivated and also to get yourself to that finish line. Okay, so not everybody gets out of debt in 12 months or even 24 months or 3 years or 4 years. It can take a long time. And I've talked about this before on my channel that I feel like a lot of times people talk about getting out of debt and like all you see is people posting, I'm debt free, I got out of debt in 8 months or 12 months. And it starts to make you feel like, oh my gosh. Like, so if you have a tremendous amount of debt, if you have student loans, car payments, and you are really trying, like you're working it, like you are doing everything that is recommended and you have like cut all, everything that you could try to cut and you're working 20 jobs and you feel like you're putting all your money towards it. You never go out to eat. You never go to buy coffee. You don't do any of the things that people tell you not to do. And you are still you're still in debt and you're doing it month after month after month and it's taking you years, okay? It gets really discouraging and I completely understand. It did not take us a year. It took us many years. Actually, I think it took us 4.5 years to get out of debt. And we, I was doing everything to increase my income. I was getting, promotions. I got a new job at a different company. I was, trying to do side hustles. I was doing YouTube, when the kids were babies and we had daycare to pay for. I mean, it was just it was hard and it took a while. It was a slog. And I just remember feeling really discouraged and, but we kept at it. All right. So this video is for you if you feel like that. Okay. So my first piece of advice is to stop using time or a timeline as a measure of success. So when people say, I paid off debt in 11 months, I became debt free in 11 months. Okay. That's like a timeline measure of success. That's fine. Maybe they had less debt than you have, or they had more income than you do. So it's possible that they paid off their debt in 6 months, but they didn't pay off nearly as much as you have paid off. So let's try to focus on the amount of money that you've paid off, right, as a measure, which is what we did. We did it by the amount. We had these cards and we would write like $1,000 on the card every time we paid off another $1,000. The kids would rip the card down and tear it up and throw it on the ground and stomp on it. And we did that every month. So it was like a big deal. And we put all the pieces of these paper cards, that the index cards, and we put them in a box. And then we literally mailed it to ourselves and smashed it with a hammer. Did you ever see that movie, Emperor's New Groove?
I'll mail that box to myself, and when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
Okay, so it was really kind of fun. So we smashed the bits of we stomped on the box with all the, anyway, it was very symbolic. But my point is to try to do it you're trying to track the dollars. How much money have you paid off? And that's really what that might help you versus the timeline. Okay, so we want to try to stay motivated. It's very easy to be motivated in the beginning. You're like, I'm getting out of debt. We're doing this thing, but then that kind of fades over time. The longer it goes on. So just try to focus on how much money you've paid off, and then if you can create some kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say. I can't find the word. Okay, some kind of routine, like pulling the cards, like something that you have, like some people have a chart. I like lists where you can cross them off with a big Sharpie marker. So if you want to have some kind of spreadsheet with all your debt and you can cross it off every time you pay off a certain amount, and that might help you to just be cross that off with the marker. Okay, All right, next is to build some kind of break into your plan. Well, you might need a break from this, okay? So yes, you are living on rice and beans, you're doing the whole thing, but maybe you need a break from it, okay? You need to have something within your 5-year period. Maybe it's been 2 years and you paid off all this debt. maybe it's time to take a little Airbnb weekend trip, okay? Something that helps you to have some kind of mental sanity. You need some kind of break. Okay, the other thing is to really separate your identity from your debt. Because I think a lot of times it's like it becomes this shameful feeling, about being in debt, and it's not who you are. Okay, just because you're in debt, like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, or like you are not your debt. You are a friend, and you might be a mother or a father or a brother or a sister. Like, you are more than just this debt and this, your debt-free journey. So keep that in mind. I tend to try to talk to myself in these situations like I am talking to my daughter, because we all talk to ourselves terribly, honestly. So try to, if you're speaking to yourself and you're saying negative things about yourself, like as if you're a terrible person because you got into all this debt, try to don't talk to yourself like that. Would you really talk to your friend like that, or your child? Like, probably not, right? Try to think of the person you love most. Would you really speak to them the way you're speaking to yourself? And if you wouldn't, then maybe try to be a little kinder to yourself, because you it's just debt. Okay, it's just debt. You're going to get out of it. It's going to be all right. All right, if your balances are going down very slowly, then maybe try to track like interest savings. Maybe you want to track months without new debt that you've, like, wow, it's been like 16 months where we haven't acquired any new debt. Like, we're rocking this, right? Like, and you are. I mean, man, that's amazing. If you get through a certain period of time without acquiring any new debt, you should celebrate that. So even if the balances are going down slowly, you're not acquiring anything new, or maybe you're building a little bit of an emergency fund and you have more money this month than you did 3 months ago. That's progress. So focus on those things. All right, long-term payoff plans, they really should evolve. Okay, it might need to change. Okay, so you have to be flexible, especially when it goes on for a long extended period of time. You might have to switch things up a little bit. So maybe you've been paying on your highest balance or your lowest balance, and then now you're like, well, I kind of want to switch this up, and I'm going to start doing the debt avalanche as opposed to the debt snowball. And I think that's okay. So, like, I think whatever helps to keep you motivated. Maybe you're like, I need to stop paying all this money on the debt, and I want to now switch and put a little bit more money in our emergency fund. I say do it. I say do it. If that makes you feel motivated and helps you sleep better at night and helps you keep on your foot on the path, then it's okay to sort of move things around a little bit and be flexible. You're still working towards the goal, but maybe you just want to do it in a different way. And I don't think you should beat yourself up about that. All right, and then of course we want to focus on the why. Okay, that's really important. So, not the date of when you become debt free is not important. I mean, as long as you continue working towards it, you will get there. And then you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, that was really hard and it was long, but now things are so much better. So, but if you can focus on the why, as far as what are you doing this for? Obviously, for peace. A lot of us, this is very stressful. Being in debt is like, maybe you just can't stop thinking about it. And I just always had this heavy feeling in my chest, and I just didn't feel safe. For me, it was like a safety thing. And becoming debt free just gave me like a tremendous feeling of just like I could breathe. Like, it was just very peaceful and I felt safer. So focus on your why. So you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're certainly not alone. You're not alone. We're all, all of us are in this together, especially here on my channel within this community.